never see a team play harder than we will the rest of this season.
We hand it off to Herschel. There's a hole. 5, 10, 12. He's running over people. Oh, you Herschel Walker. My God almighty, he ran right through 2 men.
All right, Parker, how you holding up? Give it to me. How's quarantine going?
I'm gonna be real, dude. So I've been pretty busy for work, but over the last couple of days, I mean, I've still been kind of busy, but I don't know what it is. Like, a lot of people have been talking about how bored they've gotten, and I've just been like, it hasn't been that bad. I started some yard work projects, but now it's hit me, bro. I started Road to Glory on NCAA 14, so that's helped pass the time a little bit.
That's awesome.
I won the state championship. I was gonna choose some other schools, but I just had to choose Florida since I hadn't played in a while. So I'm a freshman right now. Just beat UGA. So we trying our best, bro.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing you're doing that on the game because it's been a while since y'all did that on the field.
Yeah. Shut up,
man. It's been a minute, bro. It's been a minute since we recorded. I had a baby and life was getting crazy, so we put a pause on it so I could get into the rhythm. Now that we're in the rhythm, we can get back to this thing.
New house, new baby.
Yeah, not a new house yet, but we did a bunch of renovations, and now we're getting ready to buy a house. Life doesn't slow down. That's for sure. Even amidst quarantine, it don't slow down much. Speaking of all this quarantine stuff, let's talk about how this is going to affect college football, because it's going to even if the season happens, which I'm praying to the Lord Jesus that the season happens. It's still going to affect it. So what are some of the effects you think we're going to see?
So right now, I don't know. I think it's tough because the difference is that I was reading a stat that 75% of the revenue that college football generates is from ticket sales. And I think for the NFL, it's only 15% of their revenue, and it's all TV deals. Yeah. So the NFL can carry on. I mean, the NFL doesn't need fans in the stadium. They just need the TV deals. So that's fine. But college needs the ticket revenue. So number one, are we going to have games at all? Number two, are we going to have games with fans in the stadium? And for me, I kind of hope if it's not like, I know as crazy as this sounds because I love college football and I would say I want college football at over anything in the world. I literally said to my girlfriend's mother the other day, I was like, I will literally jump off a balcony if there's no college football. But the thing is that I'd rather have no college football than college football with no fans in the stadium. As crazy as that sounds, I'd rather wait a year. I'd rather wait a year.
It makes sense. My father-in-law said my father-in-law's a big Donald Trump fan, and he said if there's no college football, he'll assassinate Donald Trump.
What the bro?
He said if Trump doesn't find a way to make college football happen, I'm gonna kill him.
Bro, if college football doesn't happen, the South will rebel, bro. The South will march on DC, bro.
Bro. I think, well, the NCAA, I was surprised by this. The NCAA said if there are not students on campus, there will be no sports.
Yep.
I'm really surprised by that because, as we all know, the NCAA is an organization that only cares about one thing, and that thing is money. Exactly. So I'm interested to see what they do. I wonder if they'll stick to that, what they'll do to get around it. I mean, because there's already so much changing with the likeness. You can be paid for your likeness and stuff now. And then college basketball, we're starting to see guys be like, bro, I'm just going to go to the G League.
I know.
Play in college. So this is a really weird time for college sports anyways. So this coronavirus stuff is making that even more so the case.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think basketball is a little bit different. I mean, it's one and done. Plus, the difference between a 18-year-old basketball player and an NBA player is not it's not significant as if you take an 18-year-old middle linebacker versus an NFL middle linebacker. You're looking at a complete difference. Different. I mean, college football, there will never be anything. I don't think that. I mean, you see the XFL and other stuff, but it's never going to be like the G League or, I know basketball is trying different stuff for that. It's never going to be like that. But separate from that, I mean, if I was a betting man, I'd say that we have college football this season. But as the weeks go on, I get more weary and weary. So
Yeah.
who the freak knows? But
And let's be clear here. If college football folds, all of college sports
well,
folds.
I mean, look, college football produces like what, like 80, depending on the school, I guess. But I mean, you're talking 80 to 90% of the college athletics revenue.
Bro, my athletic director in high school straight up told me, like face to face, said, if football wasn't the first sport of the year, we couldn't afford to do the rest of the sports
Yeah.
because you make so much money in football season, and then that goes to pay for baseball and girls basketball and soccer and like let's just be real. Even in the college, in amateur sports especially, football is the only sport people really care about. Like,
Yeah.
people like college basketball, but if you're talking the difference in how many people pay attention to college football versus college basketball, it's not even close.
Well, I mean, the difference is like college football, everyone has their eye glued to the TV, weeks 1 through 15.
Yep.
College basketball, they have March Madness.
Yep.
That's it. Like if college basketball without March Madness is just terrible.
Nothing.
So, but I mean, I guess we could talk about kind of our takeaways and how it affects, I guess, some of the programs if the season does.
Well, before we do that, the other thing I want to talk about is they've been saying that maybe the season will be shortened and they'll only do conference games. So what does the season look like in that scenario?
Stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it, but I don't like it. And the fact that, like, I mean, yeah, I could deal without, like, Florida and Alabama and Georgia playing, like, Texas Christian High School that first weekend or second weekend of the year. But, like, think about, like, all the cool non-conference matchups that happen throughout the year.
Well, you know why I like it, don't you?
Probably because Georgia plays Virginia Tech. Who do they play?
They play Virginia first week of the season, but
I mean, that's gonna be easy.
You know why I like it is because they would probably do an expanded playoff if it was only.
Oh yeah.
Let's go. This is kind of what I hope happens. I hope that they have to shorten the season, so they shorten it, right? And then they do conference games and they do a 12-team playoff, and that playoff is amazing. And they're like, we got to do 12-team playoff from now on. No matter what.
You know what cracks me up about you is that you don't look at it from this perspective, but this is essentially like what it is that you look at it as like, oh, small schools can have a chance, but you realize that if the NCAA ever does an expanded playoff, it's for money, and you like hate the NCAA.
I know, bro.
So, like,
it's hard.
It's kind of like it's a double-edged sword, bro.
It is.
Like,
it is.
The only reason that the NCAA would go to an expanded playoff platform this season is if to get more money.
It would make up the games they lost. Like if they had to shorten the season, it'd make up the games they lost, right? But here's the
you're talking
thing.
about. Also, you got to think about this one thing before we move on is that you always talk about all these small schools and how all these small schools get paid, half a mil to play these schools. What happens if they don't play them?
I mean, they would still play them. Like it still gives you a chance of.
No, but I'm saying, like, if you're only playing conference games.
Oh, I don't know. That's tough.
So I'm saying. Like that's tough. Teams who are banking on making $500,000 from playing the University of, Texas A&M.
Yep. Well, that's the other reason they'd have to do an expanded playoff. They might even have to. Okay, if there's only conference games, they would have to do every conference champion gets in, because those teams would then have a chance to make up that revenue with TV deal money in the playoff games. You see what I'm saying? Like, because you're right, those small teams make bank by playing those big teams in the beginning of the year. So that's a lot of money those schools are losing. Some of those teams might fold their programs without that money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, teams like UAB and stuff like that, like they bank off making. I mean, that's what funds their programs.
Let's be honest. The NCAA should be spending more money to help those schools out. Like
should, but they're not.
So college football as a whole, college sports as a whole is. The simple fact is, all of us have made a deal with the devil. Point blank, period. We've all agreed to just let the NCAA do whatever they want, be however crappy they want, because we love the product, right? It's kind of like Apple. Like, let's be real. All of us know that Apple is doing some shady stuff in other countries in order to make these smartphones, right? All of us know that.
Nike sweatshops, bro.
All of us know that. But do any of us quit wearing Nike? Do any of us quit using Apple iPhones and iMac? I'm on an iMac right now.
Bro,
So
there's still
we all
the
have
people.
made a deal with the devil, and that devil's name is the NCAA. And we're willing to, look the other way if it means we get college football.
Yeah.
That's just the simple truth. And so I think that this might lead to a place where the NCAA is going to have to make some changes to save the model that they use right now. And maybe people will be like, wait, so you're telling me all these teams are going to fold and not
Crazy? What's crazy is I don't think we realize the damage that not having a college football season, like we do, but we don't. And the fact that like you're talking about thousands of people losing their jobs. You're talking about
billions of dollars, literally
billions of dollars lost, thousands of people losing their job. I mean, think about how many people ESPN would probably lay off. Then you have, I mean, first of all,
Tebow be out of a job.
Nah, bro, Tim Tebow, dude, he'll get like a Regions Bank endorsement. He'll be fine. What are you talking about?
Tebow could literally just tour the state of Florida for the rest of his life and make bank.
Yeah, he's set, bro. He lives in Jacksonville.
He lives in Jacksonville?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Bro, imagine if you sold a house to Tebow, how much money you would make.
Yeah, his house is. I've seen pictures of his house. His house is worth like $5 million.
That's ridiculous.
So $5 million, I'd make $5 million on a $5 million house. I would make 30, 60. I would make like $75,000 just in one house.
In one go, just in one shot. Bow.
Hey, the most I've sold a $1.5 million house before though too. So I mean, we close to that Tebow level, bro. But hey, I'm just saying. But listen,
Daily Enterprises.
Look me up, bro. Buy or sell a house, Jacksonville. Pew pew. No, I'm just playing. But the thing is, like you're looking at so many people, and secondly, who knows if Lee Corso is gonna live another year, bro? I mean, we're talking about.
I hope that man doesn't get coronavirus because
oh, dude. Oh my
Lou Holtz. If Lou Holtz gets coronavirus, is.
Nah, Lou Holtz. I'm gonna be real though. Yeah, Lou Holtz is definitely dead. The man can't even talk without having some respiratory problem. But listen, Lee Corso, if we lose that man because of the coronavirus, oh my gosh, you're talking about. There would be a meme. There would be a meme of like the mascot head thing, where the mascot head he puts on, somebody photoshops the coronavirus or like a mask.
Not even a mask. Bro. Have you seen like the images of the actual coronavirus?
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna Photoshop it on one of the mascot heads and he puts it on.
We were terrible. We were joking about Lee Corso's death to the coronavirus. Bro, you should go to hell just for laughing at this right now.
You have
that is an American hero, an American gem. That's America. That's the Betty White of college football.
Dude, we should make shirts that are Lee Corso's face and it says the Betty White of college football.
If I could set up one couple, it would be Betty White and Lee Corso. Do you think about how cute of a couple that would be?
Oh my goodness.
We would have to protect them at all costs.
All right, so how about this is what I was thinking. Obviously, this stuff, like yesterday, Georgia did like a virtual G-Day.
I didn't really get that.
So this is what happened. The Notre Dame Georgia game was replaying on ESPN yesterday from this past season.
Okay.
So what they did is they said we want all the fans to watch the replay of the Notre Dame Georgia game, and then Kirby is going to live tweet through it, and like the whole Georgia community is going to be on Twitter at the same time. So Kirby was like tweeting. Yeah. He was tweeting like play-by-play stuff, like, "Oh, we called this blitz here, and I really liked what Crowder did here, and stuff like that." Right? It was pretty cool. And it was just a way for them to try to like do something because G-Day is a big day, right? Like everybody, like last year there was like 90,000 people at G-Day. So they were just trying to like do a community thing. So obviously spring training's not happening. So how does that affect teams? What teams does it affect the most? The first thing I thought of was new coaches. Like imagine being the new guy at a school and no spring training.
I'm trying to think of all the new coaches. So you have Lane Kiffin, Mike Leach. You have what's that guy's from Missouri, Drinkowitz or whatever. Eli, freaking Dopey.
Drinkowitz. Yeah.
Yeah. Tweedledum, whatever his name is. And then you have Sam Pittman.
Yep.
But I mean, I know we were talking about some of the coaches in the West. It's kind of funny to think about now, but yeah, I mean, and then even you're thinking about the teams who have had to reload this offseason, getting no spring. You're talking about transfer quarterbacks that are coming in. And then, new coaches, whole new offenses, stuff like that. I mean, they're going to be –
Think about a
it's gonna be
quarterback
tough.
trying to learn the system, and there's no spring training.
Well, what's crazy about that is like even teams who, like I know we talked, even teams who don't have a new head coach. For example, Georgia. Like Georgia is bringing in a whole new offensive
Jamie
coordinator,
Newman.
a whole new offense, a brand new quarterback. So it's like, I mean, their defense. The good thing that their defense, of course, is going to be probably the best in the nation, and that Kirby Smart is a great defensive mind. But their offense is going to be probably lackluster, or even if they come out and they start firing away in the first couple of games, they're still probably not going to reach their full potential.
It's going to take time for them to get settled in.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, who knows? I mean, yeah, it sucks. I know.
Yeah, I think Georgia and Alabama are two of the teams that it has, obviously there's some teams like Vanderbilt. Is missing spring training really going to make Vanderbilt that much worse? Probably not. They're Vanderbilt. But as far as high profile teams in the SEC, I think Georgia and Alabama stand to lose a lot with this situation, with there being no spring. Obviously, you touched on Georgia having a new offensive coordinator, transfer quarterback coming in that everybody thinks is going to be the starter. But then Alabama, is kind of reloading without Tua, and having to do some new things. And this might be, I've heard even Bama fans saying this might be a down year for them in terms of expectations and that sort of thing.
So let me ask you this then. As far as SEC teams go, who would probably be your top 2 or 3 teams that benefit? Or maybe if you just want to do top team that benefits and top team that doesn't benefit from give me a couple teams that you think benefits the most as far as being one step ahead of everybody coming back from this thing, and teams who are behind.
I mean, we definitely already talked about this, but I think that, after talking to you the other day and really thinking about it, Florida's definitely the least affected team by this, in my opinion, just with Kyle Trask returning and that sort of thing.
I think the probably 2 teams that are least affected by it are probably Florida and I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of stuck between Texas A&M and Auburn, but I think Auburn probably, to me, it's Florida and Auburn, because you're looking at, not much as changing personnel wise, especially on offense for both teams. I know the same problem for both teams is that they're losing defensive linemen. I know Auburn's losing Marlon Davis and Derek Brown, who are going to be amazing draft picks, and Derek Brown's top 10 draft pick. And then Florida's losing, Jonathan Gennard, who's leading sack leader in the SEC, and some other guys. But I feel like Auburn and Florida, with Kevin Steele as their defensive coordinator, they shouldn't have an issue. And I feel like the guys who they have in the draft and their recruiting class, in the SEC it's so easy to reload, and especially I feel like Florida's always been able to reload on D line. So I would say Florida and probably Auburn. And then I'd say probably the teams that are affected the most, I'd probably go. I mean, it's tough because other than I would say pretty much all the new head coaches. I mean, Mike Leach, Lane Kiffin. I don't think Lane Kiffin will be affected as much because there's really not that much expectation at Ole Miss, and I think that he's got somewhat solid players there. I know they have pretty decent quarterbacks, so I think he could do a little something with them. I do feel like the teams that are probably hurting the most are going to be, you're looking at the top dogs in the SEC the past 3 years: Alabama, LSU, and Georgia.
Yeah,
they're all having to reload, brand new. I mean, you look at it's the same story with LSU every year, new coordinators, all this stuff. But you're literally looking at the same story between all 3. You're looking at Georgia and LSU. They've completely. LSU didn't get rid of their offensive coordinator per se, but Joe Brady, who was essentially the mind behind the offense.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, basically. And so you're looking at they're losing the Heisman winner, the number 1 overall draft pick, and they've lost. They lost their defensive coordinator. I think didn't they lose their defensive coordinator?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took the job
Went
at
to Hawaii. Was it Baylor? Baylor.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought of Hawaii, but yeah,
they're both green.
Yeah, I don't know. He looks kind of Hawaiian, to be honest.
He
But
does. He does.
but I mean, they're losing essentially their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator and their starting quarterback who just won the Heisman as their first overall draft pick. So we'll see how Edo can do without that. And so I think LSU definitely is going to be affected majorly by this. Then you're looking at Georgia, who's implementing a new offense with a transfer quarterback and bringing whole new offensive staff in pretty much. And then good thing their defense is probably going to allow like 6 points a damn game. And then you're looking at Alabama, who it's the same story with them every year. But we're talking about everyone's been lingering this question over the past 2 to 3 years. Oh, is Saban declining? What's going on? Is he going to retire? What's going? So who knows? But
yeah, I think the team it affects most is LSU. And this is why, because that offense isn't easy to learn. All we heard about last year and all we've heard, from NFL people talking about Burrow is how great of a mind he has and how good he is, with making reads and looking downfield and all those things. And last year they just raved about how he just knew the offense so well. And this isn't an easy offense to run. And you got to, be the perfect quarterback to like make it work and everything. And so now you've got these guys who have little experience playing in college that are supposed to be learning this offense right now, and they're away from their coaches, and not at the school and not with their teammates. So to me, and they lost their D coordinator, like we talked about. They lost Joe Brady. So to me, LSU is probably affected the most, and then Alabama and Georgia behind them for sure. I think the middle of the road guys, it doesn't really affect them as much. Maybe South Carolina is going to be affected because they've got Mike Bobo coming in. But like Kentucky and Vanderbilt and some of those teams, Tennessee, I don't really see it affecting them as much as those other, teams that we talked about. The one thing I do think that this is also going to affect that we're going to notice is the transfer market. I don't think there's going to be as many transfers as we're used to seeing these days. Obviously, Mike Leach tweeted out that meme that got people going crazy. For people who don't know, he tweeted a meme that was a lady that was tying a noose, and it said something like 2 weeks into court or social distancing, and I come home to see my wife making this. So he
it was after 2 weeks in quarantine. I've made my husband a new tie, and it was
it was a noose. Yeah. So he was making a joke like a wife wanting to kill her husband, but obviously we live in America. He coaches a team in the South, so there's racial connotations with the image of a noose, no matter what. And so saw that
he's in Stark, Mississippi.
Yeah, which is predominantly Black African American community. And obviously, I mean, you coach in the SEC, you coach college football. Your team is full of African American kids, right? So it's a bad look.
Cancel culture. So
yeah, it's a bad look. And he already had a senior, or a junior or senior one. I can't remember what year that kid was. That already announced he's going to transfer, and he's going to probably end up using that to get immediate eligibility. But that's a weird situation that happened over Twitter. Sometimes in the spring, we see transfers where guys realize they're not going to start. They have a bad spring, things like that, and they transfer.
I mean, think about it this way. Florida last spring literally had Chris Steele and then what was his freaking? How can I forget his name? He's actually good. Jalen Jones, who was a highly touted quarterback prospect. Both transfer in the spring. One because Chris Steele was using it to get out because he wanted to go back to California regardless.
Yeah,
but
we talked about that.
Yeah, but I mean, he wouldn't have probably done that if he was on campus. But he also used it as a eligibility thing because Jalen Jones was on campus during the spring and was freaking, I don't know, like sexually harassing some girl and got suspended. So I mean, who knows? Kids are stupid.
What about LeBron Cox transferred to you guys last spring.
Yeah, I mean,
he left Georgia and went to you guys after some of the stuff that happened this spring. So
exactly. So I mean, and the kids who are probably people who would transfer from in the spring that weren't gonna start or just trying to, thought they had better options somewhere else are most likely just gonna ride out the season and see what happens.
Yeah, because the season may not even happen. They may be given an extra year of eligibility. I mean that could be there are guys who an extra year of eligibility might even make them NFL level prospects. or
I can
give
tell
you a
you
chance
this.
to be higher up in the draft.
Believe it or not, a team who would probably benefit the most from a year off with extra eligibility, Georgia. You get a whole brand new year to introduce a brand new offense with a transfer quarterback who's just getting there. And I believe Jamie Newman's a graduate transfer, so he's only got 1 year eligibility, correct?
Yeah.
At Georgia.
Yep.
So essentially, and then you still get to bring back the best defense in the nation, who you're probably going to lose, probably 5 guys this year.
But here's the thing, Parker. How many of these guys, let's say there's no season, how many of these guys are going to declare for the NFL draft next year?
So this is what I'm asking. If there is no season, are they considered juniors? And like, there's so much.
There's so much up in the air, man. Like, we have no idea.
There's kids right now. Like, for example, there's kids right now that who literally would probably hurt themselves by playing this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at. The biggest name that comes to mind, Trevor Lawrence. What does he have to prove? He would be the number 1 pick.
Well, we've talked about this before. How soon till we see guys just sit out their final year, where they have a great maybe like Trevor Lawrence starts freshman, sophomore year and goes, bro, I'm just gonna sit out this junior year.
I don't think that will happen.
Why?
Because if anyone was ever going to do it in the history of college football, who would have done it this past season?
Who?
Tua.
Yeah, that's true.
And he did it.
That's true.
And Tua, he hurt his draft stock, but you see kids who do play that are really good, and they enhance their draft stock. So, and even in bowl games, like Chauncey Gardner for the Gators, I mean, he could have been probably 4th or 5th round pick, went and played in the bowl game and had 2 interceptions and a pick 6 and played a phenomenal against Michigan and ended up getting drafted like 3rd round, early 3rd round. And now is a starter for the Saints and is balling out. So it's like, it's a blessing and a curse, but I don't think it'll ever happen. I just think that if I don't think it'll ever come to that. I mean, you're going to have some of the guys who, I don't think, this is the thing. You're going to have guys who will probably sit out like a Chase Young, who played DN, and you're like, oh, that sucks. But like, that'll probably be like the guys who are going to be the top 3 you have to be a top 3 overall pick. And I don't think it'll ever be a quarterback.
Yeah.
Besides, who would want to draft a quarterback that would do that?
That's
how question. NFL teams are like Wonderlic and leadership and how they freaking take those little like tests.
I was going to bring that up. Did you see the Wonderlic rankings?
Yeah, the 2 lowest scores were like
Tua got the lowest score. Yeah, Tua got the lowest score.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Guess what Jake Fromm got?
He got the highest score. He got 34, I know.
I think he got 2nd. I thought one guy got ahead of him.
Maybe I just saw SEC rankings or something.
Yeah,
like that.
He was the highest in SEC. Somebody, I don't know the guy's name, but somebody scored higher than him. And Joe Burrow was right behind Jake Fromm.
Yeah, I think that's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, yeah, you want to have some type of...
It's a test.
No. I know. I'm not saying the test is bullshit. I'm saying drafting someone off of Wonderlic is kind of retarded to me. Like, in the fact,
they don't draft them off of that, but they do take it into account. Like, they do take into account.
Be real. Who would you rather have the quarterback on your football team? Tua or Jake Fromm?
Jake Fromm, baby.
Shut up.
What you mean, bro? Bro, Tua gets hurt too easy.
Okay. Take injury out of it. Just skill level. Skill level and brain. Who would you rather have on your team?
I don't know about brain, but skill level, from what I've seen him do, probably Tua.
Oh, yeah, probably. Shut the fuck up. You're so stupid, bro.
Over for life.
All right, what did Joe Burrow get?
I don't know his exact score. You might can look it up real quick. I just know that Fromm had the highest SEC grade, then Joe Burrow.
Oh, okay. Okay, who would you rather have, Joe Burrow or Jake Fromm?
Bro, that is like a dumb question because we know for a fact.
What if you would have said, that's a dumb question, Jake Fromm?
We know for a fact that based on recent outcomes, Joe Burrow is who I would pick. But NFL scouts, they really like have a different way of looking at things because we've seen them draft people that we think are definitely not better than the other guys that they pass up.
Look at John Elway. His dumbass drafts like all the 6'7" goofy looking like Paxton.
Think about this. Think about this. Johnny Manziel gets drafted. Blake Bortles gets drafted super high, and like those guys don't pan out. So the NFL scouts, they look at things so differently than like the average person. And like even though you and me are like not your average football fan in the sense that we have a lot of football knowledge that your average fan doesn't, we still don't look at things the way NFL scout does. So
you want to hear a hot take?
Joe Burrow, obviously people don't think this is gonna happen. Joe Burrow could easily be a bust.
Oh no! That's what I was gonna say. Hot take: Joe Burrow's not the best quarterback in this draft.
Who do you think is?
Like, I think Justin Herbert, bro.
Oh, I was gonna say Herbert or Eason.
Eason's kind of a sleeper, but I don't know if Eason
is definitely a sleeper. I think
like
Eason's the kind of guy that will get into the league and people will forget about him, and then somebody will get hurt. He'll come into a game, take over, and then he'll get made the guy.
You may tell you who that is of this year's draft?
Who?
Jordan Love, Utah State.
Yeah.
Book it, bitches.
Yeah.
Bro, I should be a scout. It's not that hard to freaking scout a freaking quarterback. I could do it. Are you kidding me? Hire me, NFL teams. I tell you what's bullshit. I'm a Panthers fan. Look, you don't give Teddy Bridgewater $60 million, you dumbass Carolina Panthers. I'm fucking done with this organization, bro. I know we're talking college football here, but fuck them.
Derek needs to have you on OTS or on the sideline guys, just to rant about what's going on with Carolina.
I will. It's a bunch of bullshit. Congratulations, you signed Christian McCaffrey. Yes, I'm very happy about that. But look, let me tell you this. I'm a Panthers fan for sure, but I'm going to be honest. My heart's probably going to go where Cam goes. And let me tell you.
Bro, Cam washed up.
Oh, my God. You shut the fuck up. Listen, Cam's going to the Pats, baby. Belichick and Newton, dream team. We run the back.
He is not.
If it happens, will you shit yourself?
Oh, you're saying like you want that to happen. You think that'll happen. Bro, if you become a Patriots fan, I will not be your friend anymore.
Why?
Because they're the Patriots.
Yeah, the best freaking football team in the history of the NFL. Yeah. Tom Brady. You know who's talking about washed up? Tom Brady. Get out of here. Who would you rather have on your team right now, Cam Newton or Tom Brady?
Bro, Jay Miz saw the trade thing or the signing of Tom Brady and was like, oh no.
Oh, Jameis? I know, bro. Dude, honestly, hear me out. Jameis goofy, but Jameis about to go off.
Bro, let me tell you something. Jameis, if we're talking in the league, there's a lot of guys. I'd want Jameis over a lot of guys.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. Look, I'm just saying this. We got a completely different rampage here, but I am telling you this. You could look at the past quarterbacks in the past league, and I would have told you, yeah, that quarterback, take him. That quarterback, don't take him. Like, who last year? What were the quarterbacks drafted?
What would you have said about Tebow?
Tebow? Well, first of all, Tebow didn't get his fair shake. I thought Tebow got drafted correctly. I wouldn't have drafted. Who was the quarterbacks in his draft class? I didn't feel like there was a. Hold up. What was Tebow's draft class?
I don't know.
Let me look. All I'm saying is I thought Tebow got drafted 25th overall. I feel like that's not bad. And he is a winner. He won a playoff game. John Elway's just a freaking jackass.
Bro, I always said Tebow should have got a better shot.
All right, hear me out.
Let me tell you something. If Jay Cutler can have a full career in the NFL, then so could Tim Tebow. There is not a NFL player on the planet that I hate more than Jay Cutler.
Okay, so listen, the quarterbacks that were drafted that year, the first overall pick in the draft was Sam Bradford. Are you shitting me? Tell me.
Let me tell you something. Right hot take. Sam Bradford is fire. He just can't not get hurt.
Okay, well, hot take.
When he was healthy for the Vikings a couple years ago, this man was going off. He was doing the most, and then he got hurt.
Bro, he got 1 year. We've seen quarterbacks do that. Look at freaking Case Keenum. He did it with the Vikings. Look at him now. He's freaking shit.
Every time Sam Bradford's been healthy and gotten playing time, he's done well, and then he gets hurt. Not the same.
Okay, you could say the same thing for any quarterback that has, like.
Except with Sam Bradford, I'm saying I think he had the talent level to be drafted first. He just gets injured. Case Keenum didn't have the talent level to be drafted first. Why are we talking about NFL? This is not an NFL podcast.
All right.
Anyways, let me get we can start wrapping it up here because this is obviously, we don't have tons of college football content, so it's a shorter episode. Percentage. Let me get your percentage on these things. Percentage that there is no college football season. Okay. Percentage that there is a college football season and we have an altered schedule, either shortened or extended, something like that. And then percentage, the other thing I want is percentage that they give us college football season, and then to make up for no spring training, they allow the teams to meet midsummer, late summer, earlier than usual. So first thing, what's your percentage that we don't have any college football season?
10%.
That's just canceled altogether. 10% that is canceled altogether? That's so low.
Yeah, I figured that was kind of high.
Really? I think it's 50-50.
Damn.
I think it's 50-50.
I know you, bro. You're watching too much CNN, bro.
No, I don't watch the news.
Stop watching Kumo, bro.
This is why I think it's 50-50, because people are starting to like get tired of this social distancing thing, and they're starting to like push for it to open. I think it's going to open, and we might see another surge. And if that happens, it may not get canceled because like, oh, it's so bad. It may get canceled just because they're like, oh, we tried to open up, there was another surge, and we just got to really like just say no matter what, we're just going to nix it all. You see what I'm saying? So like, if
look,
they
I will
open
tell you
up,
this though.
surge, and then
even if they do open it up, I still think that like even if they allow fans, I still think that stadiums will not be as full this year because people will still. But I tell you what though, that's good news for the Florida Gators because we're the state of the dumbasses, baby. We don't give a fuck. Beaches open back up this week. We packing 95,000 in the stands no matter what.
Bro, I saw that. I saw beaches. I saw like that morning they said Florida governor considering opening beaches. That night they're like Florida. I know. I'm saying like the morning they said he was considering it. That night they're like he opened them.
Yeah. We back, bitches.
Okay, so percentage that there is a season, but it's altered, shortened, or something weird happens with the scheduling.
Like just schedule. You're not talking
like
about
if they just said.
You're not talking about practice schedule. You're talking about regular season.
Yeah,
schedule.
Regular season is adjusted where there's.
If it does happen, 50-50.
Okay, that's pretty good. I think it's around there. I think that the most likely thing to happen is that it happens. We do have college football, and the schedule's adjusted with only conference games, something like that.
Okay.
All right. So, what are the chances that the NCAA allows teams to meet earlier than usual to make up for no spring training?
98%.
Yeah, I think 100%. Like,
yeah,
if
I don't know. I didn't want to go full. I didn't have big enough balls to go full 100, but
you only shaved 2% off.
Like, all right, fuck it. 100%. 100%. You essentially just equivalently. You just said in a nice way, no balls, and you're right. 100%. All right, 100%.
I think so. Like if the season happens,
cut this out 100%. Cut the first part out. I'm just kidding.
Like if the season happens, they gotta give them an extension, right?
Yeah, they have to.
They have to, right?
Recruiting schedules get messed up. Like summers, there's no dead period in the summer, most likely.
No.
Anyway, what was the last question?
That was it. All right, let's wrap up with some shout outs. Even if you don't have one, I can give you yours because you're about to get off of here and watch a documentary about them in about 15 minutes. My shout out is the NCAA. I'm actually surprised that the NCAA said no students, no sports. I was surprised by that.
Are you okay with that decision or not okay with that?
I think it's the right decision. I mean, to be fair, those kids play for a school. If they're not even allowed to go to school, then why should they be forced to show up for football to hold on to their scholarship? The NCAA should honor their scholarship and say, as long as you're not in school, your scholarship's not getting taken from you and you don't have to come play. Because how would it look to be like, you can't come to school because of the virus, but we want you to play football despite the virus? That would be kind of messed up.
I feel like they know that they'll look like complete assholes.
I hope they know that. I mean, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care about looking like that.
They do now, though. They do now.
No, they don't.
They care about their image. They care about their image.
I can't get away from the fact they didn't give Luke Ford immediate eligibility, and he had family members who had brain issues.
They gave Tate Martell midget boy. I know.
And he didn't even play. He didn't even play.
I know.
And he didn't even transfer back home. He transferred to the other side of the country.
You're freaking Miami Beach. He freaking just boats and hoes. All right.
The worst.
My shout out. I got 2 shout outs actually because So number 1, Michael Jordan, because this docuseries. Thank you to the GOAT for dropping the series. I'm so excited to. He's dropping first 2 episodes tonight. Y'all watch ESPN. Secondly, this has nothing to do with college basketball, but college football. But I just want to shout this man out because I feel like he really he He's definitely the best at his job, and he's definitely the best sports commissioner. Shout out to Adam Silver, bro. I just think Adam Silver, like, I don't know why I'm thinking this right now. Adam Silver, always on top of things, bro. I'm not even worried about the NBA. I just know that man's going to make the right decision. That bald-looking man who looks like a 6'7" Humpty Dumpty is going to take care of us. He's a beautiful mind, a beautiful soul. Adam Silver, shout out.
Bro, you must really love Adam Silver because you brought in a shout out that had first off, both your shout outs were about basketball. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
Second off,
these are the times we're living in.
Second off, Adam Silver is probably the best commissioner that we have in professional sports, but I wish he'd figure out the China stuff because it's getting weird.
It is getting weird, but guess what? What is he supposed to do?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of people up there spending lots of money.
You know who should have figured out the China stuff? LeBron James. Screw you, LeBron James. The man didn't say anything. And you know who stepped up and said something about China? Daryl Morey, the Houston Rockets manager. Go Rockets. We don't fuck with communism. And all these people want to shit on the Rockets. Well, guess what? You're commie lovers. Okay? We deserve the NBA championship. Even if the NBA season doesn't go on, they should just give us that for standing up to China. Also, I want to say one thing. Follow me on Twitter at Parker Gailey, but because I just put a great new poll on, I said, who would you want to narrate your life? Morgan Freeman, Matthew McConaughey, Anthony Hopkins, James Earl Jones.
That's your Twitter content?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty solid.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Go for it. Derek, come in on this. I want to get your opinion.
What are the options?
Who would you want to narrate your life? Morgan Freeman, Matthew McConaughey. Oh, Derek, I'm so ready. Matthew McConaughey, Anthony Hopkins, or James Earl Jones?
Who would I want?
Yeah. So, for the record, I totally picked McConaughey, but I just said Anthony Hopkins.
I think Derek loses his black card if he doesn't choose Morgan Freeman.
No, James Earl Jones is black.
I feel like Morgan Freeman's like the old black man.
I will say this, though. I feel like the more black answer is James Earl Jones.
I was actually going to say I actually voted for James Earl Jones. I did, yeah.
There we go, Derek.
But if you think of old black man, old famous black man, is Morgan Freeman not the old famous black man?
No, he is.
Okay.
Well, but James Earl Jones is. Well, actually, okay. Morgan Freeman is the voice.
Morgan Freeman is it's the African American version of Betty White.
It's with Betty White today. Like Parker's just all into Betty White today for no reason.
Morgan Freeman is the African American actor version of Lee Corso. Is that better?
I think it's the same thing, but
yeah. No, but I say James Earl Jones because of my my love for Lion King. And
Mufasa, Darth Vader. He's
Vader.
The king in Coming to America. He's everything.
Yeah, he's the voice in all of cinema. Like you
I think I have to choose Morgan Freeman.
Dude, Morgan Freeman's a great answer. I told people are going to sleep on Sir Anthony Hopkins. If you don't know who that is Hannibal Lecter, but he also is like in Transformers. He's got an amazing voice. But let me tell you, Matthew McConaughey, look, no homo. If you don't pop a half chub in those Lincoln commercials, are you kidding me? Bro, chills every time. When he's talking about the smooth leather and the wilderness terrain of that in those Lincoln commercials, I swear on my life.
Bro, he's too big of a Texas fan for me to ever choose him.
Hey, hook 'em horns.
Fair enough.
Bro, this is a conversation for a different episode, but I'm tired of Florida fans rooting for all these other teams.
Listen, I have an ugly Christmas sweater of Matthew McConaughey that says hook 'em horns.
Yeah, I know you do because Florida fans root for other teams for no reason, like they're their team.
No,
like
are you kidding me? That's Georgia.
You and Bryce rooted for LSU all last year.
No, I did not. I rooted for LSU when they played Georgia and when they were in the national championship.
What,
no,
bro?
I just thought Joe Burrow was OG, bro. Get off me. Georgia fans, first of all, let me say this. I will get off this podcast. I apologize. But let me say this. This is a bunch of bullshit because, listen, Florida fans, we're true and true, bro. Listen, we're the everything school. We get to vote. We get to go for a baseball. We get to go for a basketball. You know how many – we get to go for a football. You know how many Georgia fans I know that are Kentucky and Duke basketball fans? Hop off my dick,
I'm
bro.
talking about football. The only thing I care about is football. I don't watch any of those other sports.
Exactly, Georgia fans.
Why would I
bro.
watch baseball?
Y'all are so scrub. Y'all are
Baseball's
so
the most
scrub,
boring
bro.
thing that has ever happened.
Georgia fans are so scrub, bro, because they know their basketball team ass, so they have to be like, please, I have to go for one winning program, Duke.
First off, the basketball team this year was really fun to watch.
Yeah, and what
They
did
weren't-
y'all do? Y'all were gonna make the NAIA at best. Get the hell out of here.
The NAIA, first off, that's a different association
Oh,
altogether.
the NIT, my bad. The NIT. See, no one even gives a shit about that tournament. I don't even remember it.
Oh my
All right.
goodness.
I
All right,
need to
let's
go
wrap this thing up. You need to
Thank
go
you,
watch
guys.
Michael Jordan.
First of all, let me tell you guys
Spoiler alert, he wins.
before we go off this thing. If none of you guys have ever seen the face of Derek Myers, holy shit. 10 out of 10, baby. My gosh.
Derek,
Hey.
what's the Facebook page? It's on the sidelines, right?
Well, on all social media platforms, it's OTS Guys at
Okay,
OTS Guys, and then the website is otsguys.com.
What about the group, the community Facebook that we're all a part of, like how we met and everything? That's just on the sidelines, right?
Yes.
Yeah, on the sidelines group, yeah.
Bro, let me tell you
Yeah.
something. I told Derek
Part
this
of
the
our-
very first time me and Derek had a conversation about doing a podcast or anything. I told him, like, the Facebook group is really something. Like, people really interact on there. There's
Yeah.
like personalities and characters. Like, it's like a
Yeah.
legit, like a lot of Facebook pages, you join them and there's no conversation, no nothing. Like,
Are you kidding
on
me?
the sidelines is blowing up all the time.
Look, on the sidelines, there's no in between with me and on the sidelines. You either love me or you hate me.
Bro,
This
people
is how it
hate
is,
you
bro.
on there. People,
Yeah.
Cody Bill, shout out to Cody Bilbrey. This man hates Parker. Like,
No,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? They all
Yes, he
hate me, bro. They all hate me. I have one supporter, and that's Marvo. Shout out my guy.
and that's
Bro,
the person
that's
that
the
everyone else hates too.
Bro, they're all a bunch of Steph Curry dick suckers, okay?
Oh God.
I know, I'm getting vulgar, but they are, bro.
You're getting
Hey,
wild.
there's another guy. There's the guy that cuts the hair that hates me, and there's the guy that there's a difference. The guy that cuts the hair, I'll kind of fuck with, but one of the guys, I'm not gonna fuck with. His whole fucking head is tattooed. You don't fuck with people like that.
That's
I'm
Cody.
not gonna talk shit to someone who's had the balls to tattoo their whole fucking head.
Wait,
Are you
is
kidding
that
me?
Cody that has his head
That's Cody.
tattooed?
Bro,
That's Cody,
the same person that tattoos their whole head is the same person that will drive 6 hours to come find me. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not risking
we'll,
it, bro.
we'll have to get you guys on the same show one day.
Oh,
We'll have to
my
set that up.
God. Well, listen, guys, y'all make sure to follow OTS Guys on everything. You can
And
follow us on Twitter.
Every single content.
Yeah,
Nice.
and join the Facebook group. It's fun times.
I can
Real
tell you,
fun time.
I can tell you what, this is gonna get weird, but I can tell you what will get us more likes and content. Just picture that beautiful mug that Derek's got. Look at that.
All right, fellas. I'm
All right, y'all.
gonna wrap up here and help out my wife for a little bit.
All right.
See y'all.
All right.
See you,
Y'all have a
fellas.
good one. All right.